This is the 9th video in a series pointing out 100 of the slanderous lies and misrepresentations found in the Amazon docuseries Shiny Happy People, Duggar Family Secrets, in chronological order as they appeared in the program. For more details and evidence about each lie and misrepresentation individually, please see the other videos on this channel. We're finally in episode 4 and up to number 85.
You can't be a they-them people! You can't! I'm sorry, pick one or the other at least.
Social media can take something fringe,
Drag queens. It's so disgusting, it's so shocking.
and move them into the center of our conversation.
Some of you might go to hell, to be tormented day and night for all of eternity.
They're trying to present it as cool.
My 7 tips for how to speak femininely.
I'll see mainstream Christians posting the umbrella of authority.
Treat your husband as the head of the household and obey him.
And I want to just grab them by the shoulders and say, no, that was made by a cult leader.
Christian women should dress modestly.
In Shiny Happy People, the biblical concepts of modest dress, husbands being leaders in the home, homosexuality and transgender ideology as being wrong, and other concepts like them were said to be fringe and characterized as having their roots in IBLP and Gothard's teachings. This is furthering the false narrative that Gothard has spread these evil and harmful messages throughout the world, and they still are influencing people today and just being repackaged with younger faces. No, these are biblical ideas that have been around forever. Well before Gothard and IBLP were ever a thing, these beliefs have been in the Christian world because they come directly from the Bible. But to further the narrative that Shiny Happy People was trying to create, they try to make it seem like if it had not been for Gothard, these ideas would not be in the public square now.
You wouldn't repost something by Charles Manson, don't do this.
So Gothard saying that husbands should be leaders in their homes is like agreeing with the murderous cult leader Charles Manson? This comparison is so ridiculous, I don't think commentary is necessary.
This comes up with Anna Duggar a lot. Why can't she just leave? Well, let's take a look at why she just can't leave. Okay, so she was raised without an education.
Anna was not raised without an education. This is again characterizing all homeschoolers who went through the ATI program as having no education. This is a false statement.
We all out here know that somebody like that would find resources. She'd have a book deal so fast, but she doesn't know that. She probably doesn't know the truth of her situation.
Do you think it is reasonable to assume that Anna does not know she could get a book deal considering her sisters-in-law have done so? Is it possible that Anna has a different view and perspective about the marriage covenant and its importance than this interviewee? And that she truly loves Josh and wants to help him through this? It is not for Shiny Happy People producers to judge Anna's intelligence because they would handle her situation differently. This is really an egregious attack on a woman who has enough pressure on her as it is. If you want to know who is a victim, here's one. Anna Duggar being attacked by the Shiny Happy People production and being labeled as stupid.
In fundamentalism, suffering means holiness. So I was just tapping into that narrative of, you're too happy, something's wrong.
In previous videos, you saw Tia Lovings taking actual Christian beliefs and twisting them into abusive practices, such as the idea that husbands should be leaders in their homes would mean husbands spanking their wives and older daughters, wives required to call their husbands sir and lord, and domestic discipline contracts, all of which she attributes to fundamentalist Christianity, but that are not a part of it at all. Here's another one. She has twisted the Christian idea that we can show holiness by our response to suffering into the idea that suffering itself means holiness. In other words, you cannot ever be happy because you must be suffering or you are not being holy. This is the classic and clever way Shiny Happy People twists just about every single concept they bring up in their program to make it seem Christianity itself is abusive, furthering their false narrative.
a group of women come forward and sue IBLP, and then a little bit later on add Gothard into that lawsuit.
Here, Shiny Happy People begins to talk more specifically about a lawsuit that was filed against IBLP and Gothard in 2014. But here and throughout the entire program, they never disclose that every single accusation from every single woman involved is based on repressed memories. This means every woman who is making these claims didn't remember any abuse until years later, and then when reading an online campaign that was trying to take down IBLP, talking to other women who were disgruntled or trying to sue for damages, and through therapy or otherwise, remembered Gothard abused them too. Somehow Bill Gothard must have hypnotized all these women so he could abuse them, and they would not remember it until years later. I think that is a huge piece of information being left out of this documentary, and for obvious reasons.
At the time, I felt that I would be in danger, so I joined the lawsuit as Jane Doe number 3.
In part 4 of the 5-part series on this channel detailing Emily Anderson's deceptions and lies, is revealed that she lied about her reason for joining the lawsuit as a Jane Doe. In court documents, she claims she was afraid of phone calls from Mr. Gothard, and in an interview, she claims she was a Jane Doe for fear of her father finding out. But I have clear evidence that this is not the case. If you'd like to learn more about that, you can find the details in the video links in the description below.
One of our factors was statute of limitations, and the lawsuit was dismissed.
Logic alone shows this is not the case, besides the actual evidence. If the statute of limitations was a factor, the lawsuit would not have been allowed to continue in the first place. But the judge had waived this in a ruling which allowed the plaintiffs to go forward with the lawsuit. So there is no reason that the statute of limitations would be any factor in dropping it. They used this excuse because of the fact that they did not want evidence shown that they were conspiring behind the scenes to be revealed, which was going to be revealed the very day they chose to drop the suit. So the suit was not dropped due to the statute of limitations, although the plaintiffs want that to be the narrative, and Shiny Happy People was happy to oblige.
John Cornish, one of the co-founders of Recovering Grace, gives me Bill Gothard's phone number. And so I decide, well, we're in Chicago, why don't we go over to his house?
Here, Brooke starts the story that she and a friend visited Bill Gothard's home. In several videos on this channel, it is shown that there were details in her story that were false. For example, in 2 separate interviews, she claims he had a TV in his living room. He has never had a TV in his home at all. Bill Gothard does not remember her coming, and he keeps a journal of all visitors to his home, and she is not in it. His assistant has also never seen or heard of her before, and he was with Bill Gothard throughout the week she claims to have visited. But even with all this evidence, I'm open to the idea that maybe Bill and his assistant both are mistaken and forgot about her visit, and he forgot to write her in his journal. So I have invited Brooke on several occasions to clarify her story, to provide information so I could contact her friend who supposedly went with her so she could corroborate her claims, but she has not responded. At this point, Brooke's visit to Gothard's home has to be considered false, unless she can provide some kind of proof that it happened at all. And considering the other things she's lied about in Shiny Happy People, I must admit, I don't believe her. Next time, IBLP is blamed for marital problems, alcoholism, and even shoplifting. And abuse was celebrated on the Duggars TV shows. All this and more next time. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe.